Hello and good afternoon and welcome to Updates at Noon with me, Amin Carlos. Well, 22 close contacts made up of 3 family members and 19 local medical personnel linked to the 18th positive novel coronavirus case have been identified. Now, Health Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said the close contact detection process are still ongoing to identify other close contacts that may have come in touch with the 18th case.
Ketiga-tiga ini diambil throat swab untuk kajian dan pengesahan, ya. Dan yang selain itu adalah 19 anggota kesihatan kita. Dan yang itu saya tak pasti. Kita dalam proses untuk kita dalam proses untuk mengambil sampel throat swab dan sebagainya. Kita akan follow through.
Of the 18 confirmed cases, 12 are Chinese nationals, while the rest are locals, with 3 of them having fully recovered after repeat tests on them came out negative. Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli also advised all the ministry staff to be more careful and enhance preparedness in facing the current situation. The people, meanwhile, are told to seek immediate medical attention if they were found to be having any symptoms after returning from China in 14 days. They are also required to reveal their travel history to the medical practitioners treating them. Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli is also expected to have a teleconference with the Singapore Health Minister to further discuss prevention measures on the spread of coronavirus and also to exchange latest information on this disease.
The government is looking to launch an economic stimulus package to boost the local economy due to the challenges following the fast-spreading 2019 novel coronavirus. The Prime Minister, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, emphasized that the government has a plan to mitigate the outbreak's impact on the economy.
He said the tourism industry is the one that is most affected by the outbreak, as it has a direct effect on the Visit Malaysia 2020 campaign.
When we plan for this year to be Visit Malaysia year, obviously this epidemic or pandemic or whatever you may classify it as has affected tourism greatly. Yet we have made all the necessary preparations. We have the hotels. Most of the hotels are here, the well-known brands are all here, but of course they say that the room charges in Malaysia are too low for the hotels to make money. But if you raise, we might not get enough tourists. But this year tourism, of course, will be very badly affected because of this coronavirus.
Speaking during a question and answer session with French multinational companies in Cyberjaya yesterday, the Premier noted that Chinese tourists constitute a huge fraction of the tourist market. Thus, the tourism industry would have to brace for impact following the absence due to the outbreak.
The Ministry of International Trade and Industry, MITI, will meet with associations representing key industries today to obtain input on the impacts of the coronavirus on their businesses. Its Deputy Secretary General for Industry, Noraz Manayub, said the ministry would take into account the industry's suggestions on short-term to medium preventive steps that the government could take.
Sektor pembuatan malah dari sektor perkhidmatan. Dengan ada 2 tujuan. Pertama sekali adalah untuk mengepasti sejauh mana ataupun setakat mana impak coronavirus outbreak ini terhadap perniagaan di Malaysia, terutama sektor pembuatan dan sektor perkhidmatan. Dan kedua adalah mendapatkan pandangan dan juga cadangan-cadangan dari pihak industri sama ada pihak sektor pembuatan ataupun perkhidmatan mengenai langkah-langkah yang boleh dibenarkan oleh kerajaan untuk jangka masa pendek sehingga jangka masa pertengahan dalam menangani impak tersebut.
He added that the Ministry, the Finance Ministry and Economic Affairs Ministry were also looking at relevant measures in the wake of the coronavirus outbreak. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng, in an early statement, said his ministry would study the impact of the 2019 nCoV on the country before determining the size of the economic stimulus package for the affected sectors.
A total of 22 investigation papers have been opened throughout the country on the spread of unverified news about coronavirus on the social media. Now, of these, 2 cases have been taken to court with 3 charges made at the Kuala Lumpur Magistrates Court and 1 at the Kuala Terengganu Magistrates Court.
Deputy Director of Bukit Aman's Criminal Investigation Department for Intelligence and Operations, Datuk Muhammad Rozi Sha'ari said all the charges were made under Section 505 subsection B of the Penal Code for causing fear of alarm to the public or any section of the public, which provides for a jail sentence of up to 2 years or fine or both if found guilty. In a statement released, he urged the public to stop speculating on the investigations that are being conducted, adding that any statements or articles on coronavirus should not be uploaded or shared on the social media. Datuk Muhammad Rozi further noted that spreading statements or material connected to the spread of coronavirus could lead to a disharmonious atmosphere in the country.
Well, the Office of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry, or KPDN-HCP in Johor, had inspected 1,124 premises around Johor Bahru, Kulai, Iskandar Puteri and Pasir Gudang since last Saturday to ensure sufficient supply of necessary items like sugar, rice and oil. Well, KPDN-HCP in a statement said the inspection was conducted after a video on panic buying by Singaporeans went viral.
Statement said 604 premises had been inspected involving 60 enforcement officers in the 2-day operation. This follows the Singapore government's action to step up its risk assessment from DORSCON Yellow to DORSCON Orange after detecting a few local coronavirus cases without any links to previous cases or travel history to China. Thus, KPDN-HEP will also step up measures to ensure all the controlled price items are sold at the prices set by the ministry. Monitoring was also conducted to ensure that there was no hiding of controlled goods among retailers and the selling prices were according to the prices set by the government. On another note, stringent health screening are also being conducted at Johor's Kukup International Ferry Terminal. Since 29 January, more than 5,000 ferry passengers from Tanjung Balai, Indonesia were screened. Nevertheless, all of them were free from any symptoms like fever, flu or cough.
Dan kita di sini persediaan ialah sekiranya pesakit atau penumpang ada temperature yang tinggi terus diasingkan di ruangan khas dan pihak kami dengan bantuan Jabatan Kesihatan akan membawa mereka ke pusat kesihatan untuk isolasi sebelum diambil tindakan selanjutnya.
On average, Kukup International Ferry Terminal receives about 400 passengers daily.
Well, Chinese President Xi Jinping has told his people they, quote, must have confidence, unquote. Now that China will win its battle against the coronavirus epidemic that has killed more than 900 people on the mainland. Well, his first public appearance since the outbreak, which originated in the central city of Wuhan, came as the World Health Organization, or WHO, deployed an expert team to China to investigate.
A total of 42,638 infections have been confirmed in mainland China, with 1,016 deaths. Most of the fatalities are in Wuhan and the surrounding Hubei province. During his visit, Xi urged more decisive measures to combat the virus. The Chinese leader has kept a low profile over weeks as the outbreak has worsened and is yet to visit Wuhan, where the virus first emerged. The death last week of a doctor in the city who tried to warn colleagues about the virus but was targeted by authorities sparked an outpouring of grief and anger on social media, much of it directed against Mr. Xi's government. The government has admitted some shortcomings and deficiencies in its response, but the WHO has praised its efforts to control the virus, including quarantines on a massive scale.
Well, over in Hong Kong, the authorities have evacuated some residents at a Tsing housing estate after 2 people were diagnosed with the novel coronavirus, despite living floors apart. Well, according to the Department of Health, a 62-year-old woman who resided in Cheung Hong Estate Hong Mei House in Tsing was diagnosed with the novel virus on Monday, making her the 42nd confirmed case in Hong Kong. Now, she lived 10 stories below the 12th confirmed case, a 75-year-old man who lived in an apartment of the same number.
The director of the Centre for Health Protection, Dr. Wong Kah-hing, said the government was investigating the suspected environmental transmission of 2 cases in the building. Hong Kong has confirmed 42 cases of coronavirus, which has killed more than 900 people, all but 2 in mainland China. Dr. Wong said it was unclear how many residents were in the building, but those who showed symptoms would be put in quarantine as a precautionary measure. Hong Kong has confirmed 42 cases, including 1 death from the virus, which was first detected in Wuhan, China. According to official statistics, more than 37,558 cases of infection have been reported globally, with over 800 deaths.
The European Union EU Commissioner for Crisis Management, Jens Lennartz, said on Monday that they will provide protective equipment such as gloves and masks to China. While speaking to the media in the EU's Emergency Response Coordination Centre, or ERCC, Jens said that France and Germany had already sent 12 tons of equipment to China to help fight against a spreading coronavirus epidemic, and that the EU was assessing what more its member states could offer.
The World Health Organization (WHO) last week said the world has facing a chronic shortage of gowns, masks, gloves and other protective equipment in the fight against the virus. Lennartz added the cooperation between the EU and China had been good and that there was no reason not to trust the death toll figures supplied by Chinese authorities. President Xi Jinping, who has largely kept out of the spotlight, leaving Premier Li Keqiang to take the public lead in government efforts to control the outbreak, reiterated on Monday that China would beat the virus. The death toll from the outbreak has now surpassed that of another coronavirus, severe acute respiratory syndrome (SARS), which brought a global epidemic in 2002 and 2003.
Well, the police will record statements from former Prime Minister Dato' Seri Mohammad Najib Tun Razak and his wife Datin Sri Rosmah Mansor soon with regards to the recent release of 9 audio recordings by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC. Bukit Aman Criminal Investigations Department for Intelligence and Operations Deputy Director Dato' Muhammad Rozi Shari said thus far, police had recorded statements from 12 individuals to assist in the investigation.
In a statement released, Dato' Rozi said those who had given statements include Baling MP Dato' Sri Abdul Aziz Abdul Rahim, Dato' Sri Najib's former Principal Private Secretary Tan Sri Shukri Muhammad Saleh and his former Special Officer Dato' Amhari Effendi Nazaruddin. He added all those identified in the audio recordings had their statements taken under Section 112 of the Criminal Procedure Code. On 8th January, the MACC released the audio recordings of conversations which allegedly comprise, among others, the leak of information from the Attorney General Chambers to Dato' Sri Najib during his tenure as Prime Minister. There are also conversations concerning investigations into One Malaysia Development Berhad, 1MDB, and SRC International Sundaram Berhad.
Well, Malaysia has not made any decision to relaunch a new search mission for the missing Malaysia Airlines flight MH370. Well, the Transport Ministry in a statement said there has not been any new credible evidence to initiate such a process.
In addressing news reports stating the relaunching of a new mission to search for the aircraft, the ministry said it, however, would review any new evidence that officially received. The statement said the ministry would also be required to consult both China and Australia should a decision be made with regard to relaunching a search. A recent media report on the relaunch surfaced last Saturday, stating that a search for missing flight MH370 could be renewed in just a matter of months. The report said families of victims and the Malaysian government were currently looking to send seabed searcher Ocean Infinity on a new quest to find the missing flight. Flight MH370 vanished from the radar on March 2014 while on its way from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing with 239 people on board.
Industry players and infrastructure construction contractors are urged to participate in the Infrastar Sustainable Infrastructure Rating Scheme to ensure development projects incorporate environmental sustainability features. Now, Works Minister Parobian said many contractors and industry players lack environmental awareness and often take the easy road in developing projects.
Players, contractors that are in this industry would like to shortcut things without considering the impact on the environment. And I think this is something very serious as far as the ministry is concerned. And that's why we need to have rating tools to ensure that everyone is complying to the trust that we have set in place.
He added at least 50% of infrastructure projects worth more than 100 million ringgit in this country are expected to be evaluated by Infrastar by year-end. Infrastar is a rating tool developed by the Malaysian Construction Industry Development Board (CIDB) to assess infrastructure development projects by taking into consideration sustainability factors. The assessment cost estimated at 8,000 to 30,000 ringgit will be financed by CIDB based on project scale.
Here at home, national rider Muhammad Nur Aiman Muhammad Zarif retained the red jersey in Stage 4 of the 2020 Le Tour de Langkawi LTDL yesterday. Now, the 22-year-old from Team Sapura Cycling or TSC has collected 30 points after 4 stages, 15 points clear of teammate Danilo Celano of Italy and Australian rider Riley Field of Team Bridgelane.
Androni Giocattoli, Sudamic rider Kevin Rivera Serrano of Costa Rica won Stage 4 with a time of 4 hours 18 minutes and 55 seconds, followed by Muhammad Nur Aiman's teammate Danilo Celano, who finished 10 seconds behind. Former LTDL champion Artem Ovechkin of Russia from Terengganu Incorporated, TSG cycling team finished in 3rd place with a time of 4 hours 19 minutes 38 seconds. Muhammad Nur Aiman finished 45th out of 120 riders after clocking 4 hours, 31 minutes and 28 seconds in yesterday's race, which ran into heavy fog and rainfall throughout the climb to Genting Highlands. Stage 5 of the race today will cover a distance of 165.8 kilometers from Kuala Kubu Baru to Ipoh, with 3 sprint zones at Tanjung Malim, Slim River and Tapah.
Well, that concludes updates at noon this afternoon. Now, top story, government looking to launch a stimulus package amid growing coronavirus concern. Join us for news at 2 at 7 this evening. I'm Mohammed Amin Carlos. From all of us here, thanks for watching, and please, you do take care.